How to use AI to boost your productivity. I'm going to share with you the way I use AI and how you can use it too. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan, My Ford University. Uh, we are in a world where AI is everyone is talking about AI. Well, I've been using it for years now, and I'm going to share with you the ways that I use it and ways that you can use it too. So, one way I use it, I use it as an editor. I will write something and then I will ask it to edit it for me. And then I'll rewrite it and I'll ask it again. And I use it as an iterative process to help my writing get a little sharper and crisper. Um, Number two, I use it as a research assistant. I love doing research. I love, going down rabbit holes. I usually start with Google searches. I go in and do Reddit searches. I do a number of searches. And then once I have a grasp of the concepts and ideas, then I start asking questions in ChatGPT. I use it as a research assistant. Tell me everything you need, that you can find out about X, Y, and Z. Give me pros and cons, and I use it to supplement my research approach. Number three, I use it as a secretary. I ask it to help me when it comes to doing mundane, stupid tasks. I will have an outline for a PowerPoint presentation, and I say, here's my outline. Do me a favor, start the PowerPoint presentation and lay it all out in individual slides, just like you would hand off to somebody else. It's quick and dirty. Um, I will use it as a secretary when it comes to, if I'm going to craft an email. If I'm doing a simple, quick one, no problem. If I'm doing something a little more complicated, I'll write it and say, please review this and see if there's any way we can sharpen it up. And if I like what I get, I use it. If I don't, I reiterate and do it again. All right. Number four, I use it as a sounding board. I use it as a sounding board in the sense of, say I'm doing some brainstorming and I'm saying, all right, I've come up with 20 ways that, I might be able to solve this problem. Take a look, rank them, add to them, give me some ideas, let's bounce back and forth and let's do some brainstorming together. You literally have to tell it you want to brainstorm with it. Um, Number five, I use it as a devil's advocate. I sit there and I put together a plan and I put it in and I say, um, tell me where the flaws of this plan might be. What could possibly go wrong? Because as a project manager, I tend to do a lot of contingency planning, and you always try to figure out, all the possible issues that might pop up. But much like in the movie the Bridge Over the River Kwai, a great movie by the way, there's always one more thing, and I will use AI as a devil's advocate to help me try to pinpoint those things. All right, I use it as an expert advisor SME. Um, if I don't know too deep on a particular area, I will say, you're an expert in this particular area. I'm a novice at it. Give me a summary report of what it is I need to know to have a good understanding or grasp of this. And it is a good tool for that. Okay, number seven, I use it as a virtual assistant. I'll give it some simple, mundane tasks. I ask it some simple questions. I use it like a VA. All right, number eight, I use it as a teacher or a trainer. When I'm going to do certifications, I will, sometimes I'll go and I'll buy a test bank of questions, but I'll also use AI and say, hey, I need some intermediate and advanced questions for this particular certification. Can you set up some questions that would be similar to what I would see on the test? And I use it as a way to test myself. And I also will sometimes say, please time it so that I don't take longer than I should. So it's good in terms of that. I also use it as an evaluator. I will, provide it with some detail of stuff that I put together and say, give me an evaluation. Tell me ways I can improve it. So that kind of gets me to number 10. I use it as a tool. I don't use it as a substitute. I don't use it as a replacement. I use it as a tool. And you can and should too. A lot of people talk about the idea that, you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to someone that works with AI or uses AI. And I'm looking to be that person that uses it and understands it and uses it for the tool that it is. It is a phenomenal tool, but again, it's not a substitute. It does make mistakes. So I'm going to get a little deeper into some of this. I'll talk about some of the prompts and things I use and create. If you're interested in this, visit myforduniversity.com, where I cover this and many other concepts that can help you both personally and professionally, particularly when it comes to getting knowledge and skills and applying them quickly. At myforduniversity.com, you can learn it fast and apply it faster. Okay, how to get really good with AI. I'm going to share with you some of my secrets and tips. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan, myforduniversity.com. AI is really a big buzzword. It's in the news a lot. I've been using it for years, and I've come up with an approach, how to get the most out of it, how to use it the best way. One of the first things I will tell you, and this applies to almost any situation, not even AI, but even as a project manager, you have to learn how to ask really, really good questions. You need to frame things. You need to make it specific. Really learn how to make and ask good questions. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, put things in context. If you're working on copywriting, you might want to say to it, listen, I want you to operate like an expert copywriter. I want you to look at the works of, say, Jim Edwards, Don Miller. There are two copywriters that I admire. Put things in context. I'm trying to do some copywriting. Here's what I've come up with. You're an expert copywriter, and I would like you to, look at the work of Don Miller and Jim Edwards and help me make these things better. So that's tip number two. Number three, I kind of hinted at this before. Be very, very specific. You have to ask very specific questions. And if you're not sure how to get specific right away and drill down, what you can say is, please ask me any questions to help make this more specific. That's another great tip, because it is a way of bouncing back and forth with AI. I highly recommend that you give it some consideration and make sure that you're specific, because you want to get quality responses. You got to give it quality information. All right, number four, allow it to ask you questions for clarity. I hinted at that before. Say to it, if you need to ask questions to get clarity on this, please feel free. That helps it get you and give you better answers. Another tip, number five, refine the results and ask again. So if I write something and I put it in and I say, please edit this for me and use a particular tone and style, and it spits something out, I'll go and I'll look at it, and then I will refine it. I will tighten it up. I'll change it. And I will say, a little more emphasis on this, less emphasis on that. Look at the new information I'm putting in, blah, 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 and put it back through. It's an iteration process. AI is only as good as what you put into it, kind of the old garbage in, garbage out, if you're familiar with software parlance. Number six, iterate with it. Again, don't treat it as one and done. Keep bouncing back and forth. If you are trying to do, some copywriting or something, put something in, see what it gives you as improvements. Say, hey, what if we tried this angle? What if we tried that angle? And I add some verbiage and say, okay, now improve this. Back and forth until you're happy. Because it's only going to spit back what you're asking. Okay, number seven, last tip. Experiment with it constantly. When I first started using it several years ago, I used to ask it weird questions. I used to see what the feedback would be. I would ask it what its limitations were. Try different experiments with it. Test it. I've even tested other, I use ChatGPT regularly, but I've also tested other ones like Claude, for example. They're all pretty good. It's just, get comfortable with it. And, I've even seen Copilot a little bit, and I've tried the Grok. But the bottom line is experiment. Know its limitations. There are going to be things that you ask that it's going to tell you, I can't give you the answer to that because it goes against my programming. So realize that it may have a bias. You got to find out what those biases are. You need to test it. You need to confirm. If it gives you a source, don't just accept it. Go and check the source yourself, because it does make mistakes. So these are some tips that I'm giving you because I use them and you can use them too, and you will get better using AI a lot quicker by doing this. If you are interested in this concept and others like it, visit myforduniversity.com, where you can learn it fast and apply it fast. AI can help you leverage yourself. Just be careful not to lose yourself. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan from myforduniversity.com. I am the founder and dean, and we are all about avoiding the traditional education, higher education route, and doing something that's much more efficient and more timely and more cost effective. Um, we're going to be doing quite a bit on how to use AI. And the thing with AI is that you're able to leverage yourself. You're able to do things a lot faster, so your productivity will increase. You're going to be able to do things in a smarter way. You're going to learn faster. You're going to iterate faster, and you're going to want to be avoiding the trap of letting it replace you. If you make sure there's still a lot of you involved in the process, you shouldn't have that problem. And those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. I am putting out a new series beginning next week that's going to talk about all the different ways that you can use AI and the ways that you can integrate with AI. I'll be putting this out mostly on my LinkedIn channel, but I will put some teasers out on some of the other channels. We really would like to have you visit. Furthermore, if you're interested in this sort of thing and others, again, personal and professional development, doing it fast, doing it effectively, in a better way than the traditional higher education route, visit myforduniversity.com, where you can learn it fast and apply it faster. Top human traits that AI can't replicate. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan from iFord University. I'm going to go over a quick list to give you some ideas of what things that you can work on that AI cannot replicate. First of all, creativity and imagination and innovation. Uh, Definitely worth developing. Next, number two, emotional intelligence. A lot of these things are going to border on human soft skills and dealing with folks on a regular basis. Number three, ethics and moral judgment. Want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. AI, I think, might be considered amoral, so that's going to set you apart. All right, number four, adaptation in chaos. Can you adjust? Can you pivot? Can you do things when it's a difficult situation? Next, intuition and gut feel. Again, sometimes AI doesn't have that capability. AI is great at dealing with the same problems and solutions over and over, but your ability to deal with adaptation and to use intuition when dealing with chaos makes a big difference. All right, number six, relationship building and trust building. Um, the ability to create a human connection and build a relationship and trust, super powerful. All right, number seven, curiosity. AI is good at answering a specific question, but I don't think it necessarily sits there and ponders certain things. Intellectual curiosity and the ability to ask what if, that's a human thing. Develop it. Okay, number eight, leadership and vision. Um, this is going to become more and more important going forward into the future. The ability to lead, inspire, help your team grow, help your team win, because when they win, you win as a leader. All right, number nine, resilience and grit, the ability to persevere and stick to it. Again, a lot of human skills here. And finally, number 10, love and meaning making. What you want to do is create an environment, an experience. These are things, when you have passion for something, it shows. And when you can make meaning of things, it shows. I'm also very interested in storytelling in terms of delivering messages and leadership. So these are 10 human traits that AI can't replicate, and you want to work on them. My advice to you, visit myforduniversity.com. You're going to see some of these things and others. And we hope to see you there. Again, My Ford University, where you learn it fast and apply it faster. We are all prompt engineers, or we will be in the future. Actually, I kind of think we are now. I'll get to that in a sec. I'm George Sloan, myforduniversity.com. Glad you're here. Going to talk real quick concept that I look at. We're all effectively prompt engineers. Even now, even if we're not using AI, what is a prompt engineer? It's someone that can ask very good questions and you'll get very good answers. If you ask bad questions, well, you know what happens. You know, the old garbage in, garbage out. So make sure you ask good questions. The other thing to keep in mind, if you're not using AI, you need to start picking it up fast. I also heard something interesting from Eric Weinstein recently. He's a physicist, like what he has to say about things. He says we're also large language models, LLMs. Effectively, we listen and guess the next words, and this is how we understand, comprehend, and communicate. I want you to think about that for a sec. You want to learn more about this kind of thing? Come by to myforduniversity.com, where you learn it fast and apply it faster. AI needs you, the individual, and you, the individual, need AI. And I'm going to tell you why. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan, myforduniversity.com. We are going to talk about AI quite a bit in the next week or two. I've got quite a few segments on it, but I'll give you a little teaser for some of it. And I'll do that right now. I made two lists, and I'm going to go over them with you from my notes and see if any of this resonates for you. AI is the new hot thing in town. In some ways, I think it's overhyped. In other ways, I think it's underhyped. But let's talk about why AI needs you. AI needs you to train it. It just sits there in a vacuum, and you have to train it. Train it by using it, interacting with it, and giving it feedback in terms of how good the answers are. And your iterations, every one of them trains it so that it understands you and your needs and your approach. Next, you have to request anything that you want. You have to make a request for it to work. It will not just sit there and pop out stuff on its own. You have to make requests. They call them prompts. And we can talk more if you're uninitiated with prompt engineering. We can talk about that in a subsequent video. For those of you in the know, I would say to you, keep refining and keep getting more specific and building context in your prompts, and you'll get better results. Number three, you need to give it purpose and direction. If it doesn't have a thing to chase down, and that's why I always say it's good to use this as almost like a VA or a virtual assistant or a research assistant. You have to give it purpose and direction in order for it to be unleashed. It's very powerful, but you're the one that's in control of it because you have to tell it what you want. Number four, you give it something that it doesn't have, and it's one of your human factors. AI needs you to use your judgment and your ethics. The only judgment and ethics that it has are what comes from you or what its programmers put in, and you need to shape it in order for it to fit your needs. It needs you for that. Number five, creativity and novelty. AI is not creative. It's a rote machine. It kind of can read anything and everything and remember everything, but it does not necessarily make unique, innovative, novel, creative connections. That's on you. Number six, accountability and action. Ultimately, when you use it, you're using it as a tool, but you're ultimately accountable for it, and you need to be the one that takes action with it. It can't operate in the real world. So those are some of the main reasons why AI needs you as an individual. Now let's talk about why you, the individual, need AI, and I've got a few reasons for that. Number one, it's a way for you to accelerate your knowledge and your work. It is a great productivity booster. It's not a productivity replacement, but it is a booster. It relies on you to help it help you. So you're able to do things at rapid speed, rapid time, and I've talked about the ways that I use it to help speed things up for me, but it isn't a replacement for me, at least not yet. Number two, you can use it to augment your creativity. Now, I said before, AI is not creative. However, you can use it as a tool to augment your creativity. Let me give you a quick example. Uh, I like using it for brainstorming. I will come up with 20 ideas on something and I will put them in and say to AI, hey, here are my 20 ideas that, on this. Can you brainstorm with me? What other ideas might we add to this list? And in more cases than not, it'll probably find 5 more things for me, thereby augmenting my creativity. And then I can chase down whatever rabbit hole I want to go down based on what I put together and what it put together. So it really helps you that way. Okay. Number 3, decision support and insight. You can prompt and question it. I use it as a devil's advocate. I'm going to do a whole post on this in the coming weeks. The 1-3-1 model. What is this? The 1-3-1 model is you define one problem, you come up with 3 possible viable solutions, and then you recommend one. Well, how you could use it, and why you might need AI is you can use it from the perspective of evaluating and helping make decisions based on what the 3 best possible solutions are. And you can come up with a sort of pros and cons of why you're making the recommendation of which one you would pick. It is a great tool for that. It helps, it adds, and it can boost your speed in terms of doing that. And finally, number 4, you can use it as a learning tool. If I come across something that I'm not that familiar with, I typically, I'll do my Google searches, I'll do my Reddit searches, and I will sit there and go through it. And then based on my own knowledge that I've got, I will then turn around and say, okay, based on all of this, I will put it into AI and say, okay, tell me a little bit more about this. Get me up to speed. I want to go from a novice's understanding of this because I'm not an SME or a subject matter expert in everything. I will say, help me act as my subject matter expert or my SME, a SME. Show me, what I need to know to take my knowledge from novice to, say, intermediate. So it is a great learning tool. I mean, there are other things, but again, these 2 short little lists will at least give you an idea why AI needs you and why you need AI. If you're interested in learning about this information and more, if you're interested in personal and professional development, if you're interested in getting the knowledge and skills of a degree holder without having to go for that degree, and more importantly, and most importantly, the ability to apply it to get deliverables that actually create real world results, which at the end of the day, that's all anyone cares about, please visit myforduniversity.com. Check us out. We believe in learning it fast and applying it faster. AI has an Achilles heel, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Stay tuned. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan from Ford University. We have a different approach to traditional higher education, and we are very focused on personal and professional development and getting the knowledge and skills that you should have gotten in college, an MBA degree or a PhD degree. Going to be doing quite a bit on AI in the coming week, and I wanted to share with you some things. And some of those things are that, again, AI does have an Achilles heel. Beyond the Achilles heel, AI has some limitations and restrictions. Number 1, it does make mistakes. So you need to make sure that you check everything and don't rely on it exclusively. It can be embarrassing and possibly costly. Additionally, it is very reactionary. It is not proactive. Effectively, you've got to ask it to do something. It does not just do it on its own. Next, it is highly susceptible to GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't put good information and knowledge and perception into it, you're going to get garbage coming out. But its real Achilles heel is that it needs human judgment and discretion. Again, AI's Achilles heel is that it relies on you for judgment and discretion. If you don't put that aspect into the AI, you don't get anything of any real value. So if you want to learn more about our perspectives on AI and how you can incorporate it into what you're doing, next week I'm going to be doing a whole series on various ways of using AI and maximizing and boosting yourself with AI. It'll probably start on my LinkedIn page, and I will have other teasers leading you to there from other places. So if you're interested in this and other things, such as, again, personal and professional development, please visit myforduniversity.com, where you can learn it fast and apply it faster. Thank you. We'll see you the next time.